Alrighty, today we're going to be looking at adding Mary Z's Easy Peasy Roadtrek 2007 210-piece sewer line upgrade with optional pooper peeper. So the problem we're trying to solve here is that on my Roadtrek, the macerator line going into the holding cabinet is kinked and obviously just about ready to fail. So we're looking for a much better solution here if we can find it. So this is the Easy Peasy solution, and what it does is use banjo cam locks and also some hosing, particularly one that's clear, which is the optional pooper peeper, so that now we have something that completely disconnects from the Roadtrek. Also, and probably more importantly, what you'll see is the macerator line cannot move. It stays just fixed in one place. So the whole problem with it flexing and bending and possibly breaking is resolved completely. Okay, so here's the parts list. All of the banjo products are available on Amazon.com. The aluminum plate, I bought the aluminum stock at Home Depot, and you'll see how I fabricated that to connect to the Roadtrek. The Thetford items are also available on Amazon.com. The optional clear plastic hose, got that, as well as the hose clamps and the various nuts and bolts at Home Depot. This is the Banjo Camlock 100E. It's the male piece that's going to go into our aluminum piece. It's going to be held on the back with the macerator hose and the hose clamps, and I'll show you a picture of that here in a little bit. There's a dust cap that's available. You can add that if you like. I thought it was actually pretty cool. It serves as another function if you happen to leave the gray or black handles open. It's going to make sure you don't drive down the road leaving bad stuff on the roadway. In any case, that's just another item, and I'll show you how that fits in a second. The 100C is the female part that goes into the 100E. So what's really nice here is the 100E just pushes into the 100C. Those two silver levers with the rings just get pulled up, and now you're locked in securely, ready to dump, and you've got a really nice solution which is not going to leak. So the thing you're needing to fabricate is this aluminum piece, and we'll show you where the holes go here in the next slide. One thing I did want to point out, the hole is going to be just slightly larger than 1 inch. The barbs on the 100E are just slightly wider than 1 inch. And I didn't realize that when I first did it, and I kind of messed up the barbs just slightly. Probably not a good thing. So probably use a 1-inch hole saw and then file that just out. Oh boy, just not much at all, so that thing fits in there snugly but without damaging the barbs on the 100E. So here it is mounted on the Roadtrek. There's actually this triangular brace which is part of the original storage cabinet for the macerator hose. So hopefully you can find that. It's actually just to the right of the two handles. We've now mounted the 100E onto the plate, and also the hose from the macerator hose has been cut and then pushed onto the barb connector. Here we have now the two hose clamps that I used to hook the 100E to the macerator hose. I didn't really need to use two hose clamps per se. I did, well, because I could, and also since I did kind of mess up the barbs just slightly, I thought that was probably a good idea. This is the dust cap now installed on the 100E. So now we're pretty well finished with this whole part of it. This is clearly the hardest part. The rest of it's really easy. Alright, on to the hose. So this is the Thetford hose we're using. What's really nice about this thing is it's very flexible. The two black ends are real flexible as well, and that was one question I had when I bought it. So they're going to work really nicely with the hose clamps. Here's the Thetford nozzle. And one thing's interesting, by the way, with the hose, you get a gray barb fitting. We're going to need that here in a second, so that's make sure when you get that you don't lose it. Okay, so we're pretty much done. What we have now is a clear piece of hose. The thing with the hatches, it's actually, this is a fiber reinforced. You don't really need to do that. Just grab a piece of 1-inch ID plastic hose if you want to use it as the optional pooper peeper. The idea behind the pooper peeper is that when you press the button on the macerator, you can now watch the flow. And so you can tell when it's done. You can tell if you've got a problem with your macerator that you need to deal with because it's not pumping properly. In any case, gives you some idea of what's actually going on, and it's kind of a nice feature. So if you're going to use the pooper peeper, cut yourself about a 8-9 inch length of clear 1-inch ID plastic hose. Push one end onto the barb fitting on the 100C. Use a hose clamp at that point. On the other end, this is where we're going to use this barb fitting that comes with the hose that we purchased, and that's going to hook the black hose to the pooper peeper, and there'll be 2 hose clamps there. Now you can install your nozzle and you're done. So it's now really easy to use the Banjo cam locks to remove the hose. It's very flexible. It lays now right down in the tray, and just is a great solution for that. And the proof's in the pudding, or something here, and so here you see it in operation. It's just really nice to have this long hose. It makes it very convenient. One other thing I did want to add is the other nice thing is when you disconnect the hose, now you can kind of lift up the end and really do a good job draining out that hose and also the nozzle before you put everything back in. And so there you go. As you can see, I also have a remote control switch from an ATV winch. And if you're interested, there'll also be a video on YouTube you can find for that modification as well.